Welcome back, friends. Last video we had discussed about exam details of CISA. How can we get certified in terms of CISA, right? What is the syllabus, right? What are the how the marks are bifurcated or selected in exams, right? So here is the first video in which we will discuss about the domain 1 interview question. This is completely free training courses, we can say, and we will start the technical perspective domain number 1, which is what are the process for auditing informations, right? uh, in terms of CISA if we talk about. So let's begin the session, guys, from the next slide. Yes, here the first question may asked in interview that what is the first pillar in CISA and what is the main purpose of this domain, right? So CISA primarily talks about the process of information system auditing, right? So see, guys, CISA is providing these audit services, right? It talks about the fundamentals, right? It talks about the processes of the CISA of the auditing services, right? So remember one thing, if any questions are asked in terms of CISA, right? For example, what is CISA talks about? You have to generally say that yes, CISA talks about the auditing services, right? How to plan, how to execute, right? What are the things we should take care? What are the best process for information systems audit? So all these fundamental comes in CISA. So CISA talks about the auditing services, point number 1. It describes the procedural aspects of conducting audits, planning, testing, and reporting, right? For example, how to conduct audit, right? What are the planning steps, right? How can we test and how can we report the audits? So here we can discuss in detail that what is the purpose of CISA, right? So as first number as point number 1 states that how to plan the audit to ensure that information systems are protected, controlled, and risk. So how to plan the audit, right? What are the steps we should use to get the audit? And the point number 2 is conduct audit with information security standards, a risk-based strategy, right? Guys, here the one question arises, right? What are the types of audit, right? So if you talk about the organization's point of view, right, there are two kinds of audit, right? Number 1 is information security standard, right? That means we are doing the audit uh, by taking the base of international standards, right? And second one is internal organizations based, right? So generally we do the audit based on the risk type, right? So risk based strategy we generally use. Third is analyze and monitoring of IT controls, right? How can we analyze and monitoring of IT controls? So this is a third point in CISA. Coming to the next slide, guys. Use data analytics tool to manage the audit processes, right? What are the data analytics tool, right? We will discuss next slide. So how to use the data analytics tool to manage the audit process or to streamline the process. Communicate communicate audit progress, findings, and recommendations to stakeholders. Next is identify the opportunities of improvement in the organization's policies. So policies you can also include in CISA, but the main focus in CISA technical point of view and as well as the policies point of view. Okay, coming to the next slide, guys. What is the difference between audit and assessment? Yes, very generic question, and both terms looks like very similar. What is audit? What is assessment? Right? What is inspections? Right? What is investigation? So if we talk about the assessment, so this is the internal audit or evaluation from where we can identify the gaps and implements the corrective actions plan. Okay. So assessment is the first phase of the audit line, and it actually evaluates uh, from where we can identify the gaps or weaknesses of our systems, right? So second is, this is the initial phase of audit line. Okay, if we talk about the audit, that means assessment is the first line in terms of the audit, right? So next is a generally assessment generally done internally and resources belongs to their own organizations, right? Because assessment is the first level of audit, we can say, and it's generally performed uh, uh, by their own resources. But if we talk about the auditing partner, then it's an analysis and evaluation to identify the gaps under a certain rules and regulations. Very important, under a certain rules and regulations, right? Rules and regulations applicable if we are performing the audit, right? Because audit we are doing under the umbrella of some standards, right? Second point is audit done by the external parties or the third parties. Example, BSI agencies or ISO, right? Because coming back to the first line, guys, under the umbrella of some regulators, right, or some international standards like ISO, like PCI DSS, right, we are doing the audit. So under certain rules and regulations, we are performing the audit, right? But if we talk about the assessment, then rules and regulations we generally don't adhere. Okay, so audit is the uh, examining and analysis uh, of what I say, um, audit and examining by the third party, and this is the last phase of audit, right? So and audit can be performed under the rules and regulations baseline. Okay, coming to the next slide. Can you idea what are the names of popular data analytics tool which can streamline the audit process? Okay, so what are the data analytics tool, guys? Very popular is ClickView. Power BI is a new one who is supposed to overtake all these applications. Third one is Apache Spark, right? So phone number one is ClickView. Second one is Power BI. Last questions, very practical questions. Maybe of you guys have faced this scenario, or but definitely your report can't believe by the client, right? So this is the last question. If client don't believe your audit report, right? Maybe due to any reasons, right? For example, major gaps, right? Or any other reasons, right? What is the best way to deal, right? How will you deal the situations? So point number one is, don't argue with the client on the base of audit report, and ask that this audit is done as per the CISA and IS security standard guidelines and recommendations, right? Last is present some effective evidences to win the client trust, right? So this is very important. Use very powerful words, for example, as per the CISA baseline and IS audit standards, right? What are the IS standards? For example, ISO 27001, right? If you are doing the enterprise risk management, right, and accordingly, if you are doing the transactional audit, right, use the PCI one, right? If you are doing the medical organizations audit, right, then use the HIPAA. So what are the applicable rules and regulations, right? You can take the name. Okay, so audit can be done as per the CISA process and IS security standards, guidelines, and recommendations, and draft some effective evidences to win the client trust. So this is very important. I had covered these questions right from my practical experience. Next video, how to plan for audit questions, right? That is the that is actually the planning phase. Okay, uh, we will discuss in the next video, which is supposed to come in next 2 or 3 days. So So thank you guys. Kindly subscribe, hit the bell icon, and don't forget to share. And if you have any concern during your interviews journey, you can post your comment. I will pick your comment very positively and provide you answer in very short span of time. So thank you guys. Have a nice day. Take care.